Hello everyone. In this part, we'll be discussing the extract-based questions of the poem, The Thing of Beauty, written by John Keats. So let us start. The first extract is, A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases, it will never pass into nothingness, but will keep above and quiet for us, and a sleep full of dreams, and health and quiet breathing. So question 1, what does the poet mean by its loveliness increases? So by this phrase, the poet means that with the coming time, the beauty of an already beautiful thing increases. The loveliness and the magnificence of a beautiful thing increases with time, and also its importance. A beautiful thing can never grow more ugly. It will always, its loveliness will always increase. Its beauty and its importance will always increase with time. Question 2. Why a thing of beauty is a joy forever? A thing of beauty is a joy forever because whenever we see a beautiful thing, that experience is stored in our memories. And we know that whenever we see a beautiful thing, that experience never escapes our mind. So in this way, a thing of beauty becomes a joy forever, becomes a joy that is inescapable. And it is also this experience and a thing of beauty itself becomes an inevitable experience. That is why whenever we experience a thing of beauty, whenever we see it, we feel so happy that seeing a thing of beauty becomes a joy forever, becomes a happy thing to experience. Mentioning the two sources of joy which a thing of beauty provides to us. So the two sources of joy that it provides to us is first of all, a good sleep, and second, a quiet shady place for us to rest. Explain, never pass into nothingness. So in short and simple words, pass into nothingness is basically, this phrase basically means that a thing of beauty can never go worthless. It can never grow more ugly or more less beautiful. By this, the poet means that there will never be an experience when a human will see a beautiful thing and not be happy and not be joyous. So in this way, a beautiful thing will never grow worthless. Therefore, on every morrow are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth, spite of despondence, of the inhuman dearth, of noble natures, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and o'er-darkened ways, made for our searching. Yes, in spite of all. So question 1. What are the flowery bands that bind us to the earth? All of the beautiful things that Mother Nature has to offer, the mountains, the water bodies, the flowers, the trees, the bushes, all of the beautiful things, they are the flowery bands that bind us to Mother Earth. They are the flowery bands that we weave when we get up after a beautiful sleep. It basically means that all of the beautiful things we see when we get up from a sound sleep, they strengthen our bond with Mother Nature. Question 2. What message do the above lines convey? The above lines convey the message that, first of all, whenever we get up from a sound sleep, all of the beautiful things that we see, they strengthen our bond with Mother Nature. And secondly, even if we fall into all the things that give us grief, that is sadness, hopelessness, lack of faith, things of beauty are always present to give us happiness and optimism. So they can never vanish. They are always available for us to search for them. Why is there an inhuman dearth of noble natures? So this phrase basically means that there is a section of humans who are evil and who engage in bad practices. There is lack of noble nature in our humankind. just because we fall into the trap of more and more and more, of wanting more and more and more. So there is a lack of a proportion of good humans. And in spite of that, in spite of the majority of humans being evil, we always search, we always have nature to provide optimism to them and lead them to see the positive aspect of life. Question 4. What do you understand by unhealthy and or darkened ways? So this phrase basically means, in this phrase the poet is talking about all the unhealthy and dark habits that we fall into. Just like hopelessness and sadness, lack of faith in our surroundings, all of these values, all of these dark practices and unhealthy practices that we fall into, this phrase is talking about them. Some shape of beauty moves away the path from our dark spirits, such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady boom for simple sheep. And such are daffodils with the green world they live in, and clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make against the hot season. The mid-forest drake, rich with a sprinkling fair musk rose blooms. How does the beauty help us when we are burdened with grief? Whenever we are burdened with grief and we go and see a beautiful thing such as a beautiful mountain, a beautiful flower, a beautiful scenery. So this experience, this aesthetic experience, this beautiful experience, it alleviates all the sadness that we have in our mind. Just by seeing a beautiful thing, just by seeing beauty, all of our sadness vanishes away. So this is how a thing of beauty helps us when we are sad. Explain some shape of beauty. So this phrase basically means that some or the other kind of beautiful thing engages in removing all the dark experiences that we have. So the question is, identify the figure of speech in the above lines. So the figure of speech in one of these lines is cooling covert. Cooling covert is the use of alliteration because cooling and covert both have the starting word as C. Question 4. Why are our spirits referred to as dark? Our spirits are referred to as dark because we engage in all the unhealthy habits, we engage in experiencing all the things that give us grief. That is sadness and hopelessness and all the other things that give us grief. Whenever we engage in them, our spirits become dark. And such too is the grandeur of the dooms we have imagined for the mighty dead. All lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink, pouring onto us from the heavens brink. So the question 1, who are the mighty dead and how do we know about them? So the mighty dead are our ancestors, all of the people whom we have heard about in stories and folk tales. How do we know about them? Yes, we know about them just because of the stories and folk tales. What images does the poet use to convey that beauty is everlasting? So, the image used by the poet to convey that beauty is everlasting or permanent is an image of an endless fountain pouring from heaven. This is an image that poet has used to convey us the message that beauty is permanent. It is an endless fountain that pours to us from heaven. And it is sent by God himself. Write the words from the extract which mean stories and magnificence. So stories is lovely tales, lovely tale or the grandeur of the dooms, and magnificence is grandeur. So stories is lovely tales and magnificence is grandeur.